My kindergarten homeschool curriculum picks. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Sydney and I am a full-time working homeschool mom. I am just wrapping up my first year of homeschooling with my now 6-year-old daughter who we have been doing kindergarten with this past year. And I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about what we have used for our kindergarten year. We have basically stuck with the same thing all year. And it's worked really, really well for me and for my daughter and how she learns and how I like to teach. And I wanted to share that with you today. I want to make a little disclaimer first before I start talking about the curriculum that we are using, because curriculum is so individual and it really needs to be personalized and individualized to your child and to your family, to your lifestyle. I actually have a whole video on how to start homeschooling where I discuss the steps that I personally believe need to be completed before you just go out and buy curriculum, because a lot of us, myself included, just want to go out and buy curriculum because that's the exciting part about homeschooling, and that's usually where you want to start your journey. But that's not what I recommend, because you will spend hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars trying all these curriculums and not actually maybe loving any of them because you don't know what your homeschooling style is. So go watch my how to homeschool video first before you just go buy curriculum, and I am going to share with you guys what we have used this year, what we have loved, what's worked really well for us, and a couple of things that we tried also that didn't work as well for us. So I'm so happy you're here, and let's dive in. Okay, so for our first year of homeschooling, I really wanted to pick a curriculum that was going to fit our life. I am such a busy mom. I work full-time, I homeschool. I had just had a baby when I started homeschooling, and I wanted something that was going to kind of lay it out for me, tell me how to teach my daughter these things, because I was pretty nervous starting homeschooling. This was my very first time doing it, and I didn't really know much about it still. I've learned so much during this first year of homeschooling, but starting out, I really didn't know much about it. So for me, my homeschool style is very much Charlotte Mason based. I love reading really good books, really good literature, spending lots of time in nature, spending lots of time with my children, and I wanted a curriculum that was going to sort of fit that Charlotte Mason pedagogy, but that was going to also fit my busy life schedule. So I wanted an all-in-one curriculum. I wanted something where I could just like buy most of their stuff and have the curriculum be from mainly the same company. I chose that just because I think it's a lot easier. A lot of people are eclectic homeschoolers and they will pick and choose from all different sorts of curriculum and kind of homeschool that way and take all of those curriculum choices, put them together, and then homeschool, if that makes sense. But I wanted something that would kind of just be like from the same company. If I could find a company I really love to use and that would just be like easy for me, I could just order everything that they recommended and it would tell me what to do. It would just be open and go. And I found that through The Good and the Beautiful. It's actually kind of crazy because I live in Utah. We're also based out of Utah County. So it's really nice for me because I can actually go into their physical store and shop for all the curriculum that I need. And it makes it super fun because then I can take my daughter with me and kind of show her everything I'm looking at and buy our curriculum that way. So it's really fun. I also wanted something that would be easy for me to teach my child how to read, because this is something I was actually like pretty nervous about. I've never taught someone how to read before, and you know, us as adults, we don't really remember learning how to read. Like, that's not really a memory we have. At least I don't. And my husband said he doesn't remember learning how to read either. So I really wanted something that was gonna like walk me through the steps and teach my child how to read. So I've also put in like a couple of, I'm not an eclectic homeschooler, I wouldn't say. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Maybe like a tiny bit. Mostly Charlotte Mason, maybe like a little bit eclectic, a little bit classical. but mostly Charlotte Mason. But I do have a couple things that I threw in just because I thought they were really important and I wanted them to be studied and learned in our homeschool. So let's just start with what we start with our day. So Bible. I chose this complete illustrated children's Bible to study our Bible lessons. When we first started our homeschooling, I was just reading to my daughter out of like the actual King James version of the Bible. But it's just like it's so hard for an adult to comprehend sometimes. Like trying to have her comprehend that, I was just like, this isn't working. So I actually went on Amazon and I bought this complete illustrated children's Bible. And it has been so great. We are more than halfway through it. We've been homeschooling about a year exactly. And it has just been so awesome. It like really simplifies everything, but gives you the gist of what it actually says in the Bible, and we have loved it. So what I do is every day when we do our homeschool lessons, I read a little bit out of this children's Bible, and then I ask my daughter to tell me back like what was her favorite part, or what did she learn, what was her takeaway. That's the part that's very Charlotte Mason about our homeschool. I do a lot of like oral narration with my daughter. So I will read her something and I will have her kind of explain it back to me in her own words, or tell me what she enjoyed about it, what was her favorite part, that sort of thing. So that's what we've been using for Bible study. Moving on to language arts. So for handwriting, we chose all of our language arts is from The Good and the Beautiful. So this is their handwriting book. My daughter actually already finished the handwriting. She like loved doing this. So sometimes she would do 2 sheets a day, sometimes less, sometimes more. So we are actually already onto the level 1 of the handwriting. And this has been so great. She's already like several pages into this, but we've really loved this for handwriting. And then we have used their language arts level K. And I was like, okay, so I bought the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. And then I got like a little nervous because I started to like go down that spiral. You know, sometimes you'll watch like YouTube videos or other people talk about the Good and the Beautiful, and they say things like they don't think it's enough, or they're worried it has like Mormon indoctrination in it, which you guys, I live in Utah. I grew up LDS Mormon. I am no longer a part of the church, but I know about like Mormons, I know about Mormon indoctrination, I know about all of it. And the Good and the Beautiful does not have any Mormon indoctrination in it. It's very much Christian. Like it will just talk about like how God created the flowers and God created our beautiful earth, all of those sorts of things, which I personally love. I wanted that in my curriculum. I wanted a faith-based curriculum that kind of looks, you know, and sounds like what we're learning about in the Bible. So, I mean, just coming from someone like I've lived in Utah my whole life, grew up LDS. When you go watch those videos, I think I'm not talking bad about anyone that's making those videos, but they don't really know what the LDS religion is or what the Mormon religion is because they didn't grow up in it. I personally grew up in it. I know exactly what it is. And the Good and the Beautiful does not have like Mormon indoctrination in it. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like a wonderful faith-based curriculum that's just very much Christian-based. So I'm just gonna leave it at that with that. But we have loved the Good and the Beautiful. So I'm actually so impressed with this because we started with the kindergarten prep curriculum, and my daughter like took off with that. She was learning so much so fast. And then we started the kindergarten language arts, and I just can't believe like we are a little bit more, we kind of have been going a little bit slower through language arts, which is totally okay, I think, just because learning how to read is such a big academic skill to learn. There's 120 lessons in the language arts and in their math curriculum, and we are on lesson 75. So we're a little bit more than halfway through their language arts. But if you watched my How I Plan a Homeschool Day, you know I don't do homeschool lessons every day based on book lessons. I go off of more like time-based. I really fill out my daughter's cues, and I'm working at her pace, and that is what the beauty of homeschooling is I'm able to do that. So reading has been like a little bit slower coming, but I really focus on having her master certain concepts before moving on. Like, we have been stuck on one of their booster cards, which I will show you right here. So the language arts also comes with these booster cards here. And we have been stuck on one of these. They call them sight words. I don't teach them like sight words. I actually have my daughter still decode the sounds, break them down, and then I tell her that kind of tricky part of the word. I don't just have her like go through a list of words and try to memorize them. I don't think that's a good way to learn how to read. And I don't think, like, some people don't want like any sight words in their reading curriculum. I think it's totally okay to have the curriculum call them sight words, because in a way they do become just like words that you know on sight, which really most all words do. But I don't call these really sight words. I just call them, they're tricky words that we have to kind of know that tricky part of it, but you can still break down the letters you know. So you can see here, we are on card 35. There are 50 cards in the reading booster. So this goes with the language arts, and these are the ones she's kind of mastered. I have like little smiley faces by them so far, but we've been stuck on this card for about 2 weeks, and that is totally okay. This is why language arts takes a little bit longer for some kids, because I'm not going to move forward until I know my daughter's got these down, and then we can move on. So this goes with the language arts book, and they want you to master the booster card before completing the lesson. So they go hand in hand, and the language arts course book will have like little stop markers, and it says make sure that you've mastered one of the booster cards first before moving forward. So you want to master your booster cards before moving on to the lessons, and they just work so easily hand in hand. I was like a little bit nervous about this because there's 3 components to their language arts. There's also these reading booster books, which these are so great. They're just like little tiny readers. I was like a little bit nervous though, because like it kind of seemed like, oh, there's like 3 different parts to language arts. Like, how do you do this? But it's so easy, and their directions in the book are spot on. They make it really easy to know what to do. But yeah, so you do your booster cards first, and those go with the lessons in the language arts book, and the language arts book will tell you when to stop if a booster card has not been mastered. A lot of people get confused about that, but that's how it works. Booster cards mastered first, then the lessons. Moving on to math, we also chose the Good and the Beautiful Math Level K. We have loved their Math Level K. We're actually almost done with math. We only have about 10 lessons left of math, which is so crazy. So we've gone through the math a little bit faster than we're going through the language arts, and that's great. So when we are done with the math or getting close to it, we will just go down to the Good and the Beautiful store, and I will pick up their Math Level 1. I'm already kind of planning to do that pretty soon. So spoiler alert, I'm probably going to be using their curriculum for first grade as well. But I might be throwing in like a little something else too. We'll talk about that in a different video. But their math is just so great. And it is a spiral based math, so it kind of keeps going back to lessons or concepts and talking about them, spiraling through them. And at first I was like, this is like really tripping me up. Like, this is not how we learned in school. We didn't learn through spiral-based learning. The school system, like public and private, is usually traditional, and the Good and the Beautiful, and traditional uses mastery, I should say. The Good and the Beautiful uses a spiral-based approach with their math. So you don't really like master math concepts and then move forward. You kind of keep spiraling back to them or building on top of them. And at first it was confusing me. So I did try Math with Confidence this kindergarten year as well. And Math with Confidence, I think, is a great program. But after doing it for about a month, my daughter just kept like begging me to go back to the Good and the Beautiful. Mom, can we go back to the Good and the Beautiful? And I was like, I miss it a lot too. So we ended up not finishing out Math with Confidence. I just set it aside and we went back to the Good and the Beautiful, and now we're almost done with it. And I've seen a ton of progress with the spiral based method for learning math. I think it's awesome. I don't know if it's any better than Mastery. I don't know if Mastery is any better than Spiral. A lot of people have like hard opinions on this. Me personally, with my first year of homeschooling, I tried like a little bit of both, and my daughter just liked The Good and the Beautiful better, and so did I. What I love about The Good and the Beautiful math curriculum is that it comes with this math box too. But the math box comes with everything you need. Where Math with Confidence, you have to like build your own math box, buy all these additional supplies. The curriculum itself for Math with Confidence isn't super expensive, but I found it like super annoying that I had to build my own math box. I didn't love that. So we went back to The Good and the Beautiful for math, and it's been awesome. We've really, really loved it. Brief intermission. As I'm sitting here editing my video, I realized I got so busy talking about The Good and the Beautiful, and I wanted to talk about that Mormon indoctrination stuff you hear all the time, and I totally got sidetracked. But I wanted to let you know we also tried the Logic of English for our kindergarten year. We used it for about a month when at the same time that we tried Math with Confidence. And I think Logic of English is a great program, but it didn't work for us, unfortunately. It just has so many different components to it. It's so parent intensive, and it honestly is so in-depth that it was really confusing my daughter, because we started with The Good and the Beautiful and she was already like doing so great with reading. The Logic of English was just like too much. It was confusing her. It was like wanting you to know the sounds of all the letters in the beginning instead of like, for example, like letter C with The Good and the Beautiful, you know, it makes the k sound. But with Logic of English, they want you to know it makes k and s. So it was just confusing. I think it could be a great program, but it didn't work for us. So I did want to throw that in here and talk about it. And my daughter was like begging me to go back to The Good and the Beautiful the whole time we were doing Logic of English. So yeah, back to the program. And then moving on to science. No surprise here, we did The Good and the Beautiful for science as well. My daughter chose the Field and Flowers science unit. This is so cute, you guys. We have absolutely loved this. So it has tons of different lessons comprised into it, and each lesson will have like a story you will read or a video you'll watch. Some of them will have an activity, which is super fun. So these two go together. So this is like your parent guide, and this is the big book of science stories. And the parent guide will tell you if you're going to be reading a story with it or if you're going to be watching a movie. And it's just so great. Like, we've really, really loved it. And then what I do, so I also asked my daughter, like, is there a specific unit you want to study also? And she said she wanted to learn more about the ocean. So I went onto Amazon and I just bought this fascinating ocean book for kids, and we have just kind of been slowly going through this. So what I will do is I will alternate between the ocean study and the Good and the Beautiful Fields and Flowers study, and we will do one of those a week. So, and then I'll just alternate every other week. So what I've done is I went and I bought this blank notebook, and I wanted to kind of use it as like a nature journal. So I have my daughter go through here, and we will just kind of like, what I will do is I will go online and I will find a picture usually for her to color that goes with our science unit. If there's not like a direct craft or activity involved in it, like with the Good and the Beautiful. With our ocean study, I just usually go print off a picture and I will put it in here, and she can color it. I'll write kind of what the lesson is that we did, the date, and I always have her do her oral narration with it. So I will tell her what was her favorite thing she learned, or what did she find the most interesting, and I'll always put that here at the bottom. And I just love this so much. I think it's gonna be so fun to look back on when she's a little bit older, and it will just be so cute to see what she did in kindergarten. Like, that's so cool about homeschooling. I can't wait to one day look back on these and see how far my daughter came. And finally, last but not least, I wanted to do like a poetry study with my daughter as well. So The Good and the Beautiful does have like art in it, it has geography, it has some poetry. It really has everything you need, but I wanted to just do like a little bit more on top of it. So we have just been using When We Were Very Young for our poetry study. And we have actually read through this 1.5 times. So I'll usually do poetry about once a week with my daughter. And we are just going through it again our second time. And then I will go pick something else to do for poetry next. But that is what we have been doing for our poetry. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you liked our kindergarten curriculum picks. Again, don't ever feel like you have to use what someone else is using for homeschooling. Homeschooling is so individual, it's so personal. What works for one person won't work for another. Make sure that you go check out my How to Homeschool video and find out those steps before just going out and buying curriculum. I'm so happy you're here. I really hope you're finding value in my content. I strive to help you to not feel alone on your homeschooling journey, because I know that this journey can feel so lonely sometimes. And I am always looking for community too. So please know I'm here for you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.